Welcome to Barely Stable, an intermediate level podcast. Hosted by Nick Barr and Daniel Freeberg. Produced by Daniel Rigdon. A cool disc golf podcast for intermediate players. This is the Barely Stable Podcast.
Live from beautiful Austin, Texas, it's the Barely Stable Podcast. We're ready to BS. Here are your hosts, Daniel Freeberg and Nick Barr.
Welcome to the Barely Stable Podcast, episode 6. Moving right along.
Number 6.
Number 6 here, as always, with my good friend and doubles partner from last week, Nicholas Barr.
What's up, everybody? How we doing today? Really good show today. We're going to talk about a handful of things. We've got, some big changes in the PDGA this year. So we're going to talk about a few of the rule changes and then just a couple of things that we were actually affected by this past weekend that are a new rule change in 2024. We found a really cool website that we started to use, and we're going to talk to you guys about it. It's called My Disc Golf Bag, and it helps you kind of show your bag in a more of a matrixy kind of way, show some holes in the bag. I think we all found some things out about our bag as we look at it. We're going to take a look at that, and we're going to pair that with some of the different shots you kind of need to go with some of these discs that you have in the bag, and we're going to try to, if we can, crack the code. And what do we actually need in the bag?
All the discs that we need.
Like, what do we do? Like, in the house right now, we have someone who carries, I feel like 20 discs
Not
at the
even.
most.
13.
13. I don't even want to tell you, I almost 40 discs right now, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Before we do, in the booth, we have a little bit of addition with us, as always, Mr. Daniel Rigdon.
Hey.
What up?
And you might notice a handsome man next to him, Mr. Trevor Williamson, Mr. Trill Candy Disc Golf himself. You might have seen him at every single Goose promotion event. He helps out a lot there. He's always got a camera in his hand, super talented guy, even better disc golfer, even better human being. Mr. Trevor Williamson, appreciate you coming on board and helping us out with the show, man. Hope to see you here, often.
Yeah.
Howdy. Happy to be here.
Howdy.
Welcome.
I think I just did the thing where you introduce and talk too long, and the person's like, sorry, man.
It's all good, man.
Welcome to the
I'm here
podcast.
on my birthday, and I'm happy to
That's
Whoa,
right, Mr.
happy birthday.
27th birthday. I forgot about that. Happy
good.
birthday, brother.
So young. He's
You know
so
what we got
young
him for his
and
birthday?
good.
Some Barely Stable stickers.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Boom.
It's also Ratings Day.
Ooh, we are recording on the second Tuesday of the month, Ratings Day. It is currently Tuesday, 13th?
Tuesday the 13th. We got it right
So
there.
this will probably be coming out on or around Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. But it is Ratings Day. We had a big update. You guys know what you guys updated to this month?
I went down a little bit.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. I had an 819 round that I had to bury.
Where did the
So-
819 happen?
It was the windy round at the Moody's. It
Ooh,
was at
yeah.
the Moody's. It was at Moody's.
Moody's
It was-
Ranch, yeah.
Yeah. And I figured it out because it was 2-round day. I figured it out. For
Your
the
second round was great.
Yeah. First round, a lot of things, but great was not it. So I played every flex, every tournament.
Oh, is
I
that why
could
you were
since
going a little heavy with the tournaments? You're trying to get some more rounds in? Smart.
Trying to
Think I'm
bury
gonna be
that
doing
number a little bit.
a little bit of that myself here too. Rigo, how'd you do?
I went down 1 point. In the last month, I had both my best round and my absolute worst round. Literally 150 points, 160 points difference.
Wow.
So just kind of all over the place, trying to figure some things out. Upward and onward. Or I guess from now on out, upward and onward.
Upward and on.
Yeah.
Weird and
Yeah.
awkward. Yeah.
Trevor, what about you, man? How'd you fare this month?
I went down a couple points. I don't play great in the cold weather.
I would say I don't play really great in the cold weather either. It's probably my least favorite weather to play in. I could deal with even a little bit of rain, wind, whatever, but when it's real cold, I feel like my grip goes away, and that is everything. I feel like that's
Man.
I feel like that's
Arthritis.
everything. Yeah. Arthritis, weak hands, I don't know what
Yeah.
you want to call it, but I feel like my grip, whether it's putting or trying to bomb something, my grip is just off. So I spray a little bit. I'm not getting all the snap I like to. It's
say that,
definitely cold weather.
But I saw that your rating went up a little.
It did go up a little bit, but I think that had a lot to do with, I only played the Moody or the Mint round tryouts and one of the rounds on there, maybe. So I think those good sprinkle rounds and that Live Oak round,
Carried you.
you know how a good Live Oak round will do you. I think that was my first Live Oak round that was sneaky good though.
That was fun. I still remember the putt that you hit on, I think it was hole 10 or 11, where you were pretty disappointed with your drive because it was up on a hill.
Yeah.
And there's some trees and stuff in the way. And then you're able to pull that birdie out. And you're like, okay, let's go, son. And
Well, that's where it felt like the momentum kind of went from fighting uphill to if I can just string together some pars, luckily get a couple more birdies, this is a good round.
Yeah.
But yeah, ratings day with success. Happy ratings day to everyone out there. Had kind of an interesting weekend. We always try to do a little competition in the podcast. Trevor, obviously, welcome to join in on it. But we have these Stunna shades here. You might see them. We actually kind of stole this from University of Michigan football's defense, Go Blue. But the best player in defense, guy who gets an interception, they get to put on the Cartiers. We can't afford Cartiers, but we can afford knock-around sunglasses. Shout out Ace and everyone down in San Diego with knock-around sunglasses. But this weekend's hot round goes to Mr. Daniel Freeberg. My man. Shout out at Wilco. It's my second time playing Wilco ever. I think you've played out there a handful of times.
Yep.
Freeberg knows Wilco pretty well, and he went out there and played pretty darn well.
Yeah, well, It wasn't so much that I know it well. It was that I went out there and practiced it.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah,
did you? Oh,
yeah.
that's
I played it like 4 times.
man. Well, that is the way to go. I think
Yeah.
knowing a lot of where to land is that whole course.
It was a big deal. But
smart call to go out there and
Yeah.
practice.
the day before.
Oh, you don't want to keep those on? You look
No,
so
you
good.
should take them off. You should take them off. Yeah.
I can't see what's going on. in the dark.
The podcast is great.
But yeah, I went out there and the day before, and it wasn't because they did an updated layout for.
Oh,
the
that's right. Yeah,
U.S.
that's right.
Women's disc golf tournament. Is that right?
USWDGC.
Yeah, and so like there was one really hard, the whole 9 out there is like this ridiculous par 5 that like double dog leg.
Is that the one that they cut in half?
Yeah, and they broke it into 2 holes, much easier. But I did the day before. I literally shot a plus 11. So, yeah, I mean, I was practicing.
But was that with the old layout? With the updated
that was
layout?
with the old.
Okay.
So it was a little different, but still, practice makes perfect. Learn to do it, and I think it's also important to note that I only beat you guys by 1 stroke.
Yes.
Yes, you guys both. Yeah,
And on a not even a technicality, but on a absolute mistake, a second round was played by one of us at that tournament.
Who was that?
yeah. I
that
wonder
did
who that was.
Nick?
Chrissy Fountain, here's my public apology. We really didn't know. Last year in C-tier flex starts, you were allowed to compete in any division you were eligible for, essentially. So if you were 40 and were sub 930, you could essentially play 4 times. Like you could play an MA40, you could play an MA2, MA1, MA3 if you wanted. You don't get payouts. Like it's not for it. Like there's a lot of stipulate, but essentially, like from what I remember, and we did it a few times last year. In essentially no payout, I don't even know what they're considered, but like when you have no payout, is that the? I
like,
forget. Someone in the comments or
only.
someone can shred me down there because I obviously didn't know the rules enough to even do this.
Think about it. It's like running it back.
As it's like the more words come to your mouth, like you're clearly we're wrong. Clearly we were wrong, but the rule is essentially this year, single player, the only time you can compete in the same tournament at a flex start is if it's over multiple days. So you're allowed to do it if it's on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can technically play in that flex start all 3 days.
days.
Yeah. But again, it has to be in different divisions. So just that's a new rule for 2024. Didn't know it, but on that round, my second round, having seen it, I did do a little better. I tied you.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, I probably didn't even deserve that. I couldn't putt for a darn.
Well-
So that was a lucky, what was it, 2 over?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, 2. Felt a generous 2 over when I came in. And after the first round there, we were about 4 holes into the second round. And it was like, this was a mistake. My legs kind of hurt. My feet were starting to hurt. It was kind of getting a little cold. It wasn't a good day.
It's not a small course.
No, it was
Like,
long.
it's a large course.
I looked at my little walking meter. It's like, oh, you've walked 12 miles today.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Well, and I can remember the one that it was the putt that won for me. It was.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah, I had one. I was in the trees and I had to lean out, and I've been practicing like a little turnover putt, like a little.
And you nailed it for
curve
bird?
back. I nailed it for par.
Oh, nice.
But it was like I did it, and like our friends Britt and Ryan were out there, and Britt was like, "Whoa, that was a real shot," and I was like, "Man, if I could do stuff like this all the time." But I can't. So,
What if we were James Conrad all the time? Be pretty sick. Mostly because he's just a nice guy.
yeah. I don't know. I like to hate on James Conrad.
Do you? Why?
I don't know. Everybody likes him too much. I feel like you need to bring him down a little bit.
I don't think there's any reason to do that. I feel like if you met him for 2 seconds, you'd be like, oh, okay. I would let him right now babysit Lola.
That's crazy.
He was that nice. He was that genuine.
I mean, he looks too much like Jeebus.
If there's anyone going to be disc golf Jesus, it should be him.
Oh man, everybody
Shout out,
loves
no free shout out, Greg Barsby, number 2, maybe.
Greg Barsby is
He's maybe, that's maybe a cooler hang. I don't know. Be close. Those two. Maybe those two fight it out for coolest. Oh, then you have to throw maybe Matty Owen there because he's kind of, I mean, man.
the glasses. Ugh. I didn't even know we were going to go. Who would want to hang out with? I want to hang out with Ken Climo from X.
You do? He seems like a cool guy. So I hear. All right. So what we're going to do when we get back from this little commercial break is we're going to go over a website that's going to help you dissect your disc golf bag and kind of see what holes you have and where you...
We had one more rule we were going to talk about.
Oh, that's right.
Everybody.
We'll roll it back. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
Could you hit the little flag on the...
It's that guy right there. Yeah, go for it. Boom, flagged.
Will you go on the cut to me in a single? And then just as soon as I start talking, go back to the wide. What were we talking about with the...
You were talking about Matty O.
Yeah, we can talk.
Oh, it's right off
yeah.
video.
Yeah.
Matty O, maybe in my top 5 coolest guys to hang out with. And I'm not like a big pro follower. I don't know if you are. You do watch a lot of pro
Not
coverage?
as much as I probably should. I want to play.
I think I want to play too, but I think you know what? I've been watching a little bit more. It's fun watching their shot shapes. It's fun watching how they go about, and I'm not even talking about like big shots off the tee. It's very, very fun to watch them throw approach shots, to watch them throw a little turnover backhand that sort of just softly lands near the basket rather than something that's kind of coming in with a little bit of tempo. It's, I don't know. I think there's a bit to learn and take away from it. I might do a lot more watching this year.
Nice. You know what I like watching them do
What's
this
that?
year that we never had? I like watching them all keep their own score.
That's a rule change for
That's,
2024.
yeah.
You know what that is? A world-class transition, my friend. Segues. So what do you think about it? How do you like keeping score?
Everyone keeps score in 2024. I actually think it's a great thing. And the PDGA, the way the site is set up, I'm the guy, for some reason, I kind of fell into with most of the groups that I run around with. I'm always the guy that ends up keeping score.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe I'm the anal retentive one. I don't want to be, but I think maybe that's...
Do you like keeping score?
I don't mind it. I've done it enough to where now I don't feel right if I don't have my phone in my pocket.
Oh, really? So you play phone pocket the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you watch the scores? Like, are you a score watcher as you're like playing casual
Not at all.
rounds? Okay.
Not at all. I don't, like I usually try to get them. I don't watch them in casual rounds. Like UDisc kind of forces you to see them.
Yeah.
But like the PDGA one, I don't look at it till like maybe 18.
Yeah, the PDGA app, if you're still using the website, that's cool too, but the app is a 10 out of 10. Like if it keeps going the same direction, they keep going with the same way, like I can't imagine it's not going to get
not gonna
better
get
this
worse.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to keep getting better. What's good about it, in my opinion, with everyone keeping score is that it used to be that the 2 people keeping score were the only people at risk of having like some penalty for keeping the wrong score. It's nice to keep the level playing field that everyone on the card has the same, except risk factor going in, and same responsibility. The other cool thing that I didn't think about until this weekend is, remember us talking about how it would be nice to have all of our PDGA rounds on UDisc? Now it's really easy. If you only need 2 people to keep score on PDGA, the other 2 people can keep score on paper or on UDisc or any other way. You just have to have everyone keeping score. So I will always volunteer as tribute as being the guy who will keep the UDisc score.
So you got it on there?
Yeah, no problem. And then I'll just monitor the PDGA one.
Yeah. Now, the one cool thing I think too about the PD, or there's several cool things, but one of the cool things is the immediate heads up if there's a discrepancy.
Love that. It's probably the best part about the app. And then the other little thing about the app that's nice, I think you mentioned, was when you're just keeping score, all you see is a score of the hole you're on. You don't see the card. You don't see anything. I personally like that. I also like being able to just click over the top and see the card. It's also nice to be able to click live down at the bottom and just immediately see like
everything.
where everyone's at if you need to. It's a super useful tool. Now, if you could include the maps, yardages, I mean, if it was a true UDisc comparable, I might not use UDisc, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Well, we touched on that a little bit last week. If Statmando made it to where we could keep all our scores in one place,
Ooh.
it's a pretty cool thing.
Even if it's just like like collected them from everywhere. Like if
Yeah.
I would pay for an additional whatever little subscription to Statmando if they collected my UDisc scores, my PDGA scores, and kept everything in one place.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, I would pay for it. Now, there's something that we were teasing earlier. I'm going to do that again. You
What's
ready?
Hey, can I actually chime in and say a few
absolutely,
more
yeah.
things? Yeah, I just had a few things to say about the app. I would definitely recommend to download the app because it has.
Hold on one second.
Yeah. Just start clean.
Yeah, hit me in a single. Rigdon, do you keep score in tournaments? What's your opinion here?
Well, I do keep score because I have to now, but I typically would be that person that would volunteer normally. And so it is nice that everyone has to do it now because it always is weird too when you get started and it's like, who wants to keep score? And a lot of people don't want to.
Yeah.
So it just makes it fair. I would definitely get the app. That app has worked flawlessly. It actually is kind of amazing that I have never had a problem.
Never
I've
goes down.
heard of anybody ever having a problem. But something that is really great about it, you are responsible for playing the hole correctly. And when you have the app up, the tournament director puts in information about the hole. So if there's out of bounds and you know, if there's out of bounds or if there's a Mando or anything like that, you don't have to rely on a teammate or, you know, somebody else on your card to actually bring that up. You can actually see the information on the hole. And you can also take notes too. I think that's a really nice thing too. If something happens to where you have to play a provisional or something happens, there's a discrepancy, you can make a note on any hole as well. So that's like a nice little.
And it's a free app, right?
Yeah.
So that's something
1,000% free. And like everyone has the same level. So like it's, I don't know. UDisc is great. I don't think I'll ever not use it unless another app comes up that does what it does and has the PDGA stuff on. You know, seems like the progression.
And another benefit to the app is if you don't have good internet service, because I've been
Saves in the app.
Yeah. I've been a couple times out there at Moody's where you get to the back nine of estimated profit.
Oh, yeah.
And people are like, well, I guess I'm not keeping score this time. It's like, well, download the app, kid.
Yeah. And
It's free.
now, I think the thing about the app that's really cool too when you're offline is that like it lets you know the whole time that like, oh, we've updated scores, your scores have been recorded. Like it's, I don't know, it takes a lot of the, I don't know, old man questions out of it, if you will. The old, like, what's going on here? It's like,
Yeah.
I know I'm a bridge between the old man and the young man. I think we all are here.
Yeah.
Trevor, you're definitely
He's
a young
the
man.
young man.
I don't even think I know exactly how old you turned today. Trevor, how old are you?
Yeah, you nailed
27th,
it.
right?
27th.
27. Okay. Jesus.
Happy birthday, by the way. buddy.
So 27, you're
Thank you
definitely
again.
at the very edge of young man then?
Yeah.
Or do you consider yourself getting into like that middle of the ground now?
He's young.
It's getting 30 is getting real, you know, like close. You know?
Yeah.
So
man,
Okay.
I
like
remember
that
30.
feeling.
I was young and charming. This was dark black.
I don't even want to take off my hat and tell you what I had going on back then, but that's another story.
So at 27, do you consider us old heads?
No.
How
Y'all,
old do you
you're
think-
right. I think
how old do you
you're-
think everyone is in this room?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's a good
Oh man,
on the spot. You're trying to make him blush. That's
y'all are
Wait, don't lump us together. Start with me.
y'all aren't playing age restricted yet, right?
Start with Mr. Rigdon, and then we'll slowly kill you one by one.
yeah.
You want me to answer that question?
No, I don't think you have to answer that question. If you
'Cause
have
that
to, if you have to
kind of-
ask that question, that hurts our feelings. Start guessing, sir.
No, I was trying to be polite. I don't think
he
y'all
has a Santa
are.
Claus beard. What are you talking about? He's a full white beard. I have no hair on my head. This hairline gets me into any place. I don't get carded for anything with this hairline. They just go,
He gets
oh
a
yeah,
senior
yeah.
discount at the
That
theater."
takes 40 years to do that. That takes a while.
Fair enough.
All right, so real guess. What do you think? Rigdon.
Just throw out a number. It won't hurt my feelings.
Knock off a few years because he will get mad.
36.
38.
Hey, it's pretty good.
Thank
He'll
you.
take it.
You definitely thought 38, and then you dropped 2 years. So I appreciate that. You nailed it.
Dude,
Well
Go
done.
with your gut.
Trevor.
true.
Yeah.
All right, 1 for 1. What do you think about Freeburg?
Maybe take out the
or-
immaturity.
46.
Oh, 44.
44.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I have the body
They-
pain of a 55-year-old. So
They were hyping you up like you were real old. So it's like,
I mean, I am the oldest one here, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just by a
Yeah. By a little.
I feel like you maybe just turned 40.
I'll take that.
I might have heard that in a podcast or something.
Oh no, I am 43.
Okay.
I don't know. Why are you looking at me?
I'll be 43. I was born anyway.
Ask someone else. You're old.
I do this to the missus all the time, and I go, and she goes 43. And like whispers my age to me. I just stopped thinking about it. And honestly, when I was like 38, people started asking me, and I would just tell them I was 40. And just for like 2 years, I just was telling people I was 40. So when I finally turned 40, it was like no big deal.
Yeah.
It's like I've been telling people I was 40 for years.
At my old job, I was like because we had a bunch of like 25-year-olds, a bunch of people Trevor's age or younger, and you know they're saying things like no cap and shit that I didn't understand, and so I just at the time I was like 38, and I just leaned really hard into the old guy thing. Like I was just like, well, we're just gonna be
We'll just be
guy
old.
now. Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of old guy things, here is a word from one of our favorite sponsors. We'll be back in just a minute.
And welcome back to the Barely Stable podcast. This is this week's sunglass winner, Daniel Freeberg. I just wanted to get one
It's
more
okay. We
shot
got
in
a
there.
big A tier coming up this weekend, baby. Don't worry. We're coming for you.
Big Zanfield tour.
Yeah.
Something we wanted to talk about, another free website that's out there that's super useful and great to use, mydiscbag.com.
So this thing is awesome. So it's a free website. They work on donations. Shout out to mydiscgolfbag.com for providing such an amazing tool. If you want, we'll throw up in picture here between us real quick. This is kind of what you can do. On the left side of the screen there, you can fill out your bag, put different discs in. You can like do everything from the color to update the stability to put the type of plastic, the run, the stamp. I think you can even take a picture of it and put it on there. But they correspond into the middle with a stability chart, which kind of shows you holes or areas of your bag where you might need some coverage. And then off to the right, you have a flight chart that shows all your discs flight together in one spot. Now, whose bag do we have up here?
This has got to be Rigdon's bag.
It's mine.
Riggins' bag. So let's, do you mind going that full screen so we can kind of dive deep?
Yeah.
So Rigdon's bag is compact. He has his favorite discs, very much so.
Yes.
He keeps what would you call the type of
Blue
bag you
Destroyer.
carry?
Oh,
Like a sling?
like a sling bag.
Sling
yeah.
Sling bag.
Sling
His bag stresses me out because he has like 4 more discs than are supposed to fit in there.
Like an extra 2 that I'm trying to squeeze in there. It's like 10 to 12, and I usually have like 13. Sometimes I'll throw a random like 14 in. Notorious when I go to a tournament and get a disc, I'll
Just to
shove
stick it
that
in
in
there?
there, and then I go the whole round being like, I don't need this
He'll
disc.
have like 2.5 discs like up over the flatness of the bag.
Yeah.
It gets
Stresses
messy.
me out. I want to like push him in, and then I want to organize him because he just kind of stuffs them in there.
You know what I think we need? I think we need to start the Rigdon's new bag fund.
Rigdon's new
And we'll
bag.
see how much we can get in that. And then who knows?
I don't think he would take it. I think
know.
he's super happy.
I
with
can
the bag.
afford a new bag.
Oh,
It's
no,
just
no.
I need to
We
do it
know
on
you
my
can
own
aff-
time.
Dude, we know you can afford one.
I know. I mean,
That's
like pretty much any bag. Like
you could just
up
go-
to like $60. I could totally, as long as there's a payment plan, I got this.
The payment plan. I'm going to leave you 8 now.
I'll come back for this, but I want the black one. No, I just meant more so like if it's a gift, it's something that you then have to use.
That's a good point.
Because
Please don't do that.
'cause I don't think you'll just go replace.
won't.
Yeah.
I think we need to get him a Barely Stable.
Ooh, now we're
Yeah.
talking. Maybe Upper Park has something that's like in the blue and orange.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Now we're
Or
talking.
maybe
Yeah.
Grip or something.
So, I think the thing we started to look at with the website here is you notice there's a little bit of a hole in
Yes.
between
Yeah.
his 5 speeds and his 12 speeds.
Yeah. He's got 1 disc in there.
Yeah.
It's either a putter.
Is that your T-Bird 3?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a T3.
Yeah. Now-
it's just a T-Bird, isn't it?
Is it T-Bird?
No, it's T-Bird 3.
It's a T3?
Yeah, 8 speed, yeah. That's a I wouldn't say concerning because I think you play well with those discs, and I feel like you
Sure.
make those discs do what you want and need them to do. But have you ever felt like you wanted to take a full swing rather than a touchy shot with some of your like 12 speeds?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, I get comfortable. I know that I can do a lot with those higher speed discs. And there's some on here too. Like my Sheriff is actually a Lucid Air Sheriff. So it actually turns like crazy. So it kind of fills that gap a little bit. Even though it's a 12 speed, it doesn't fly like a 12 speed.
I've
at
seen
all.
you turn that over a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's really cool, and not to suggest that you do it now, but you can actually click on any one of those discs and then adjust the flight path off to the side to kind of give it the flight path that you think it actually has now.
Yeah.
I've done that with some of my zones. I've got like 3 zones in there, and they've all kind of just adjusted to how they fly.
That's very cool. I'm definitely going to do that. I mean, it still is just going to help me highlight the huge hole in my shot repertoire because again, like those fairway drivers, I just don't use those, and I really need to. Like, I know it's going to improve my game so much if I use them more.
And I feel like every time you pull out that T-Bird 3, you have a good throw.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's sometimes I see you throw and I'm like T-Bird 3, T-Bird 3, T-Bird 3. But you also, of more than a lot of the other players I see, you get a disc that you feel like and you use it a lot.
Yeah, you lean into it.
Yeah.
What's the putter you throw all the time?
Right now, I've been throwing the Proxy the most.
The approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you throw backhand, right?
Yes. When I throw backhand.
I feel like you're laser sharp, like just point and shoot with that at this point.
Rigged in railgun, son.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if I'm putting, and then if I'm getting any further than that, I honestly don't use putters at great distance. I've just been using like the zone for my approach stuff.
So, and the lasso.
And the lasso too.
Lasso is getting it done for him this weekend.
Yeah, the lasso on backhand, I feel like is pretty useful. It's almost like a beat-in zone. Like gives you just a little bit of turn, but finishes real steady.
I like it a lot. My issue with the lasso is sometimes it's perfect. It was so perfect, I even made one from the water, like a little video where I parked one. But what I didn't make is a few holes later, I tried to do that and I threw it like 50 feet too far. That's
it sails.
Sometimes
it's and I think it's I think it's that one right there actually. That kind of swirly.
Yep.
This plastic is. I feel like you can throw this disc a mile. Like what is this, swirly Apex? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. And this one's 166. Yeah, I feel like you could just throw this disc to the moon and back.
Yeah.
Shout out to Goose in the Texas AM series for donating this sweet disc to the studio. It's pretty awesome. We got some new discs on the wall back here. We got the new Taco, which I guess that's something we can diverge to real quick off my disc golf scene. Mint Disc released their Taco this week. We got our hands on them just a little early by playing the USW DGC fundraiser at Fuego Friday. I got a glow one and one in the what's the solid color plastic? Is that still Apex plastic?
It was Apex, but it was like a different blend of the Apex. It was
Trevor, do you know?
I'm thinking Apex.
Thinking Apex? Yeah.
It was lighter though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I ended up getting the glow one because I want beef in my taco.
Same, yeah. I think it's gonna be a good disc. It's a 7-speed, right? Or
it's they're still putting it out to question. They're calling it like a 5.5 question mark. They haven't actually released numbers. For
interesting.
It yet. Yeah.
Okay. How does that work? Does the manufacturer get to assign the flight numbers?
Yeah, it's completely up to the manufacturer. They all have their own kind of convention.
So
here's what I propose. I propose that someone start a company that all they do is flight numbers. All you do is you test and assign flight numbers to discs. Manufacturers can put whatever they want on it, but then there is a standardized place that has there's no dog in the fight. They just call it how they see it. Maybe there's some aerodynamic tests. Maybe there's some throwing tests, machine tests. I'm not an engineer, but I know there's engineers out there. Like if you gave Mark Roper this problem, he would solve it in a day. So like challenge to an engineer, start a company. All you do is flight test disc and rate discs. 1, you get a bunch of free discs. Sounds pretty awesome. 2, more free discs. Also awesome. 3, you get to play disc golf all the time.
Still awesome.
Pretty awesome. Yeah. So young entrepreneur out there, you're welcome.
Yeah. I would love to just have a very standardized.
Yeah. Just something that's always the same. And then when new runs come out, you just send that new run in, they put it through the system, and then each run has a standardized flight numbers. Mm-hmm. Like this seems easy.
And I threw the crap out of that taco yesterday. I did a practice run out at Circle C. And what I found is it's a lot of people are saying, oh, it feels just like a Rock 3. But I have a Rock 3 that I threw for a while. It's not in the bag anymore. The taco felt both more glidey.
Way glidier to me.
And more stable. So like that
I
really
completely
hard
agree. I
finish.
felt like the
Yeah.
Taco you can kind of get to turn. I don't feel like, or sorry, the Rock 3 kind of gets to turn. I mean, granted, we're throwing brand new discs. We have no idea
Yeah.
how they'll beat in, whatever. But I agree. In the hand, feels way more stable, way more glidey. Threw it up on a hyzer. It feels like it holds the hyzer the whole way. It doesn't like
Yeah.
necessarily flip up, but it holds the hyzer forever. Dumps hard. Like it was a fun disc to throw. I mean,
Man,
really.
I got some good ground action off of it too.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah.
I think it's. I wish we just had brought it upstairs, but like the shoulder on it is nice in the hand, but like the edge has such a good like. I feel like you could ground skip it even in a spot where you didn't need it to flare too much. You just kind of needed to like push a little bit. I think it's gonna be a really useful disc. It actually might have filled a little hole. Like 17 at Sprinkle Valley. I can like it's an easy buzz on the left side to kind of turn over and kind of glide into it, but to throw the hyzer on the right side, it's a touchy shot. That might be the disc that glides just enough to like kind of be able to throw a consistent hyzer out there. So can't wait to get out to Sprinkle Valley when I'm feeling a little better and throw that glow Taco at it. But anyway, back to my disc golf bag.
Back to bags.
We divert.
Yeah, my disc bag. You want to move on to
Yeah, we can do mine now.
Daniel?
Yeah.
Freeberg.
Freeberg. Here we go.
I have more discs, obviously, than rigged in. I have I think I carry 22 or 23. I have a couple of putters in there.
But this is so as people are looking at it, he is a lefty.
Yeah. So they actually would go the other way.
Oh, okay. So you've got it in there for okay.
Yeah, it's well, you can switch it too, like just.
Oh no,
put it
it's all good.
like that.
Hey, it's the same thing. Yeah.
So, but yeah, my difference is like I don't have the big gaps, but I do have a lot of almost duplicates.
I noticed, you have a lot of clusterings.
Yeah.
Like your destroyer area,
Yeah.
and like what's right below it is like, I don't know, what disc is that?
Loghorns.
Oh, Longhorns. That's like your Wraith, right?
Yeah.
Essentially the same thing. Yeah. So a lot of those it seems like all 5 of those discs, different seasoning though, right?
Yeah, different plastics, different weights. Like I have 2 destroyers, but one of them, my yellow one, I can throw pretty straight, and then the other one, that's a meat hook.
Yeah.
That's coming down hard. And the goat is shout out Des Redding. The goat is my skip around corner disc. Like it's money.
What's the red one up at the top?
The red one up the top is my Corvette.
Oh, the red Corvette. Yes.
Little red Corvette. It is a little too fast, and it's gotten a little inconsistent.
Yeah. The 14 speed.
Yeah.
I just got gifted a weird 15 speed. Have you ever heard of a Rakuten?
No.
I should have brought that up too. I had a bet with a good buddy, Pete, Peter Steinmetz. You guys know him.
Shout out, Pete.
Shout
Big
out
dog.
Pete. We were driving back from Moody's and not an argument, but there was a discussion on what color periwinkle was, if it was blue or purple.
Periwinkle blue.
That's what I was saying. Hey, the periwinkle blue.
Periwinkle blue.
It's exactly what my argument was.
For me, ma.
For me, ma.
It's from the movie Snatch.
And turns out periwinkle is actually directly between blue and purple. Like it's the most blurple color there ever was. So we both lost and we bet a disc. So of course he gets me a periwinkle blue blurple swirl Rakuten. It's a meme disc. It has a place for your thumb on the top and it's like, it's bumpy like a disc golf or like a golf ball. So it has like little
The dimples.
on
Yeah.
it. And then where your thumb, it's flat.
Weird.
It's a 15 speed, -2.1. I'm assuming it flies like a time lapse or a flick or whatever. It seems like a beef stick, but I'm very excited to go out and try to throw that thing. I think what would be fun to do is to kind of take our discs out into the field and maybe take this chart. Because while this chart's great for like what the flight numbers are, I'm not sure if it's a true indicator of like where everything lands.
Throw them all and see what they do.
Like, do you want to throw my
awesome.
chaos up there real quick? I have a little bit of the
Yes.
opposite problem that you guys have.
Nick's bag stresses me out in a totally different way than Rigdon's bag.
I think it's beautiful.
He stresses me out because he has so many discs.
There's a lot of discs. I would agree. Here is what I learned though. I learned that if you can throw flat, the disc will do 90% of the work for you. And so rather than learning a lot of shots, I put a couple discs in my bag. So like unlock disc in my head. Like I used to throw sidewinders as like a kind of a distance driver when I couldn't really throw well and like didn't have a lot. I basically had no snap, no real form, was just like doing my best to get a disc down the fairway. A sidewinder was a thing that kind of,
It's understable. Get that
now
full
though,
S.
a sidewinder, if I can just throw it up and flat, it is going to go right, and it's going to finish right. And then maybe a little gentle, like
It's at the very end.
same thing with the turn. Same, like there's different discs now that like, oh, I can kind of just throw this in a way that I know how to throw already. And the disc will do something different out in front of me. And I got a little obsessive with that. I think I need to dial it back, to be honest with you. But if you look at it, I don't know. It's a lot. But there's no holes.
Not at all.
Now you guys carry one like a sling. You have the
backpack.
the Zuka, what do you call it? The grip. But I forget which. How many discs does the grip hold?
It's got 18 on the bottom.
And then like what are 4 more?
Yeah, I got like 3 or 4 in the top one.
I've got shout out Josh. I got from my buddy Josh the like Cadillac Zuka cart, like the one with the full rack on the bottom and then like the little thing up top.
Little thing that comes up for the diesel engine that's on it.
Yeah. So there's 38 discs in there now. It's a lot. It's too many. I went and repacked my grip bag, like just a regular big grip bag I have, and I tried to make myself like basically play Survivor with my discs. And it was a bit of a wake-up call. Like there are discs that like I don't throw often. And the fact is, if I didn't need to bring them, I feel like I would be fine just not bringing them. I actually feel like I'd be fine with just like 9 discs, 10 discs. I could probably get through any course. But I'll be honest with you, I kind of like having 3 buzzes in my bag. I like having 3 zones in the bag. They all fly differently. They all do different things for me.
Can we talk about a disc for a second?
Yeah, what disc?
You did the bag opening and the mystery box.
Ooh, yeah.
And you had that Zone X in there.
Yeah.
Now I'm in a place where I have so many discs at the house where my wife, Nikki, I love you, you're beautiful. She's like, maybe you don't need to be buying more discs. You get 1 or 2 at every
Why don't you
tournament
take
go
discs
to.
back? If you have discs on the rack, bring them into Disc Nation. What do you get? Like $3 or $4 a disc?
It's not very much, but I saw the Zone X.
Got to get it.
Oh my God.
If you throw zone, go get a Zone X. Go get on the shop app. Go find your local disc golf dealer. Go right now
buddy.
and get a Zone X. It's the best plastic I've ever felt for like an approach six. It's very gummy, easy to forehand. I feel like you could drop it in the water and put it on your finger and it would still fly off pretty well. It's ridiculous. It's real sticky on the chains. I feel like my very first throw with it, I hit metal with from like, I think we were out at Roy G. And just I've been in love with it ever since, but it has kind of replaced my, I don't say my everyday zone, but like the zone I kind of leaned on for the majority of my shots inside of 280 just got set to side, and that zone immediately replaced it. It's exactly how you want a zone to be right away.
That's rad.
I don't know how it's going to beat in. We'll see what happens. I already got a second one. So we'll make sure that if it does beat in, whatever, we can immediately go back to how we liked it.
And that's I have like a weird loyalty to my disc. So like my zone I got was one of the NADGT ones. It parked the first like 5 or 6 times I threw it. I was like, I love you forever.
Yeah.
You're staying in my bag. I hold it and I named it.
Do you feel like that attachment does helps you or hurts you?
Yes. Both.
Okay. I was going to explain that.
Yeah, it helps me in the sense that I learned the discs.
Okay.
Well, like I know what it's going to do. It hurts me as in when it starts to get beat in. Like the worst example of that was pizza number 1. Pizza number 1 was money for a
Shout out,
year.
no free shout out, Pizza One.
Yeah, R.I.P. baby. But it started to get understable, and I just couldn't let it go. And then like finally, it let itself go. It flew back into the water and drifted away. We actually found it like in another pond like 6 months later.
Yeah.
But we knew it was time to retire.
Time.
He was
already knew.
Don't put me back in the bag.
So when you guys look at my bag, what's this stresses you out?
Yeah, that's stressful. Well, how many discs you have? I could never make a decision.
Trevor, what do you think?
I think like it's good that you don't have any holes, but you just have too many options in each slot almost. But as you can see, like, you know, you've got the understable to overstable in each slot. Mm-hmm. So like, but I don't know. I don't like to have 6 options in each slot. I like to have like 3 max.
Yeah, I think that's when I was doing the elimination game, I think that was easy to do too. Cause like really I'm only using 3 discs in that slot anyway. The flick is like an extreme use case. Like sure, it's not, I don't even feel like I would put it in like a had to take it bag. It's just like, it's a nice tool to have when that exact need comes up. Same thing with like the sail. I don't need a -5 disc almost ever. But when you do, it is the perfect turnover disc, and I feel like I can throw it up on an Annie, and it is just going to sail forever and never come back left. So those are nice tools to have, but I kind of agree. I feel like some of the things that happen to me in tournaments is you shouldn't be thinking about the disc in your hand when you're throwing the shot. You should just be throwing the shot.
Now, I will say one of the things I learned or noticed in our little foray into MP40 was the guys that I was playing with that were better than me by a lot, Kyle and Luke. They were able to throw left or right and fade it left or right easily.
How do you mean?
Like if there was a shot that they needed to end to the right, they could do that without a problem. If there was a shot that they needed to throw to go around a corner on the left, they had something and a throw that could get down the field.
Well, I think you're bringing up the point of a great transition here, and that's it's a lot about the discs you have and what you can do with those discs, but I feel like that is half at most. If anything, it's probably less than half, and then there's some other third thing that completes the thing. But more importantly, it's like, what shots do you have at the use to kind of accomplish goals? So like you can go very simple and say, if you had to walk through Zilker, not what discs do you need, but what shots do you need to get through a course like Zilker? Well, you need a 250-foot straight shot. Okay, that's one shot you need out at Zilker. You actually need that shot
5 times,
6 or 7 times, maybe.
maybe
like,
more than that. Okay.
You know, and we'll call it 250 to 270, somewhere in that 20-foot range. Mm-hmm. That is half the holes there. If you can throw straight, what's the next shot you need? You kind of need a same length that goes from left to right. Mm-hmm. So if you're a right-handed person, you kind of need a forehand that can work in on some of those shots. Now, you don't have to have a forehand. You can throw a little turnover shot on a lot of those, but one way or another, you need to accomplish the goal of a disc that starts left of aiming point and finishes well right of aiming point.
And then you need 2 or 3 to go left.
The other way, right. So you need something that you can throw on a hyzer, trust the hyzer, and land it. Now, there's a few other shots you need out there that are a little trickier. On, let's say, like hole 10, you need something that's straight and pushes and holds straight. You need something that's in your Leopard 3 to, if you're, I don't know, maybe up to like a 11 speed, like a Mystere or I've
been throwing the Corvette on that one.
Yeah, but when you throw a 13 speed, do you feel like you're throwing a 13 speed, or you just feel like you're throwing a driver?
Well, I feel part of it is the fat rim.
Yeah, you just and like you get a little. I mean, the way it's. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of a funny thing. Like you're working a 13 speed, but I don't feel like you're ever going, I'm about to throw this
14.
Or it's a 14 speed for other.
No business throwing 14 in normal circumstances, but the fatter rim and the lighter weight.
And I think the last part you said big is like the lighter weight, and you like how it feels in the hand. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a little bit of the thing that is, I don't know, where we can all learn into. It's like, what discs feel the best in your hand? How many more discs can you get that feel a lot like that in your hand? And then that kind of takes a little bit of the brain out of it, because as you change your grip from like a mid to a fairway to a distance driver, there is just that little bit of the machine change that your brain has to do a calculation on. But when you're kind of working through those different shots, if you will, to kind of bring it back, apologies, when you go to a bigger course like Roy G, now you need much different shots. Like you need a shot that pushes 300 only straight, though, 210, then really works to the right the rest of that flight. You need a shot that kind of does that, but harder to the right and a little bit shorter. You need a straight shot that really pushes 310, or the ability to kind of hopscotch that or whatever.
If we're getting over 300, I don't got anything in the bag that does that. That's
well, I mean, and that's, I guess, the other part of what shots you have, not just the shapes, but like what distances do you really need? I think a lot of people spend a lot of time chasing distances, but they've kind of already reached a point where like what will another 50 or 100 feet even do for you? That's not only not accurate, but like you're kind of, you got that extra 100 feet, but can you put it
actually help?
Can you put it wherever you want? Like
Yeah.
I have not even thought about distance in a while. I really just thought about, can I put discs where I would like them to go? And it's good. I mean, we're not there yet. It was much easier to learn distance because there was no like failing. It was just like, is it going a little bit further? And that was the only fail. When you start to try to throw it places, and I think that's the whole topic here is
Part
like
of it, yeah.
the shot shape, like what shots can you throw? That is the hard part about disc golf. Let's be honest.
And so next week,
What do you think we should do?
we're going to get the drone out, right?
Well, I was thinking since we looked at this, like we get the drone up, but what do we do? Like we put it up. That was the idea, but like, what do we?
Then we empty the bag, see what everything does.
I think that's the only way to do it, right? But
Yeah.
like, I think we need something on the ground that kind of looks like this chart, like that middle part of the flight chart. Something that, I don't know, we can kind of represent the stability factor. So like if we go out and throw a destroyer and it lands center, but then you throw a buzz and it lands in the same spot, I think that's a big indicator of not a problem, but like a sign that like maybe different discs could be used to do the same thing. Because like go to my confusing one. Is that mine that's up right now?
Yeah.
That's so many discs, right? Do you think all those discs are going to land like that out in the field?
No.
I don't believe that either. And I'm scared to put that to the test because I feel like that's going to be the thing that shoots holes through my bag. And it's going to make me like, I'm going to go from having that huge Zuka bag to having just a little tiny one with like six sticks in it.
It's like one of the little side bags.
Yeah, just
like,
the holster.
Like the three.
I feel like it's going to come to that. It feels like the normal evolution, though. I feel like anybody, whether you're a hunter or a skateboarder or a climber, you get into it, you love it, you dive into a lot of like the gear and the cool stuff, and then turns out actually none of this really matters. It's just about how well can I do this thing that I'm trying to do. So as much as I love some of those discs, I don't even think the discs, I don't say they don't matter, but like, is it a destroyer-ish? Is it the right weight-ish? Like, I'll learn it. I'm not too, like there's discs I love, like you're not taking a Berg or a Zone from me anytime soon. Like I will kill someone to take a Berg out of my bag, but
I need to get a Berg. I think I'm the last
are you the only
person I
one
know
that doesn't have a Berg?
I don't have a
We gotta
Berg.
get
Have one
you
too.
don't have a Berg either?
Yeah.
Trevor, do you bag a Berg?
I don't know if I have one in the bag right now, but I do like throwing it. I don't think I'm bagging one right now.
Yeah.
What's your like one speed approach disc?
Right now, my approach disc is the Profit, Soft Profit.
Nice. Yeah.
I have a floppy wizard that I use.
The Wizard, the disc keeping Gateway alive. Does
putt with
anyone
Wizards.
Wizard.
You have Wizards too?
I putt with Wizards.
Yeah, that's why I putted with when I first started. Feels good.
I was reading an article earlier that it was like, that's an old man disc. I was like, damn it. That's why I was.
Do they not stick to the chains?
It's reliable. Yeah.
Yeah, super reliable. Yeah. I think the only reason I started putting with Ricos is because I saw a stack of them for sale.
I can get a bunch of these.
Yeah, and so I got them, and I was like, "Yeah, these feel good. We'll putt with these." And I'll probably do that again when these run out because I have no real. Do you only putt with your putter, or do you putt with anything?
I sometimes will putt with the bullet if it's a little bit longer straight, if I feel like I need a little more glide. But within 20 feet, it's one of the Wizards every time.
Yeah. Do you guys switch up your putter at all?
At Moody's the other weekend, I was using Zone OS to putt with.
That was the gale forced wind round, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I cashed a few with the Zone OS. Yeah.
Nice.
Did you? Yeah. I threw stuff that went really far, and then I threw it back, and it went really far again, and then I decided to lay up.
That sounds
Should have
about
done
like
that.
yeah.
So I have a question for you though, Nick.
Yeah, what's up?
With this whole bag thing, going out to throw in the field, what's your goal?
So I think if we throw our bags down and we show each disc that's being thrown, and then we show where the actual results are, maybe like we throw each disc 3 times, show the average of the 3, the drone will plot it, right? So we'll see the flight pass, and we'll just put, if you will, reality to the test of what we kind of have here, and see like if there is really a hole in the bag. Like if we go rigging, like here, can you hit 350 here, 250 here, 150 here, left, right? And he has a disc in the bag to do all those things. Does he really have a hole in the bag?
Right.
Yeah.
Probably not, if, and then traversely, like if I don't need 40 fucking discs to do the same thing, like maybe there's a chance to downgrade.
So dialing in the bag.
Yeah.
And
like a practical way of dialing in the bag, if you will, like rather than just this.
We're going to make a new Matrix.
Well, I mean, say Matrix. It's more like, imagine you go, like you try to build a bag, you go and you play around with it. It's sort of telling, but like a consistent data point back to you about like, I mean, the only thing would be better than this is a tech disc on each one of these and like getting real data on all your discs. And maybe that's the next thing an entrepreneur can do is we send you in this data and then you give us like feedback on the disc. Or maybe that's something we do for, man, do we just invent another business?
We just,
No, sorry.
It's like 4 now.
So to answer your question simply, I'd kind of like to dial in my bag. I feel like my bag's a mess and it needs to be fixed. And this is maybe just like therapy in the form of like some sort of intervention where if we're all out there, you guys can point and laugh and say, see, just throw the Zone, throw the Destroyer, throw the Leopard 3.
Put it on little Annie. You'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you can make it work.
Also, I think it'll look cool. I'm excited about having the drone and watching my disc fly.
It's really cool. I think one thing we want to do, and this is, I guess, a little bit of the evolution of the podcast. We'd love to set up, like whether it's at C Right, Roy G, Circle C, in the field next to Hole 1, or even at Roy Zilker, like out in the parking lot area, the Polo Grounds. So when people are making the turn to 17 to 18, or starting or finishing rounds, whatever, they can come over, throw a few shots. We'll have a couple high-speed cameras rolling from 2 different angles, and the drone above. And they can just get their footage from their shots and they can send that into a swing coach. They can take it home themselves. We can show them how to compare their swing to basically we'll just show them the Simon Lizotte video that shows his swing and a regular amateur
We
swing.
don't want to hurt everybody's feelings.
No, I think it's the most useful video on the internet for form. He just shows his form in I don't remember the guys, but it's just like an average amateur. And he goes frame by frame, the difference and why the amateur's result is happening and why what he's doing is getting a net better result. You don't need someone like, I'm certainly not qualified to do that. I don't think a lot of people are, but like if you just had that yourself, I feel like you don't need someone. You can just literally look at A and look at B and go, oh, his elbow. Oh, he's actually staying very upright through his pullback. Oh, when he's engaging, this is still very, very vertical. And as he's pulling through, that doesn't ever break. Like he's actually upright the entire time, even though it feels like he's not. And that seemingly keeps his hips engaged long. And like all these little things that like you think it's happening maybe here to here, and it's almost none of that. Like this is the easiest part about throwing the disc. It's like all these other kind of things all happening to the point at once. And I feel like if we just had at tournaments the ability for people to come and get that on tape, everyone's disc golf game would rise. Like anyone who has ever filmed themselves, I'm sure you guys have. Trevor, I know you film yourself a lot. I think it's the thing that helps you throw better more than anything else.
Yeah, I think that whole process you just explained is actually a necessary step for anyone to like reach their full potential. I don't think you can really do it any other way.
Man.
Without like, watching yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate watching myself though.
It's
you ever
tough.
seen a baby Sasquatch try to throw a disc?
It is tough, but here's the thing. As soon as you see yourself, your brain, without you having to do a lot, your brain goes, oh, no. Clean that up a little bit. And I just did it. If you pull open that drawer right now, there's probably a Post-it note that says what my putt is or something about my putt.
Yep.
I made myself make a list of what my actual putt is because I'm not doing the same thing every time. And even then, on that list, I forgot to tell myself, grip. Don't forget to hold at this pressure. Filming myself just a couple times made me make that list. I just took my phone, filmed it, and I was like, oh, when you release it well, the disc flies amazing. What happened on that one? And I tried to make a list of all the things I did on that shot that made the result go.
Right.
I didn't compare it to anyone else. I mean, I got to that point by stealing from everyone who puts well. But that's kind of how you do. But the seeing yourself and then making the list, I don't know.
First step.
I don't know. Trevor, what do you think? It's like,
I think putting is more unique to each person.
Oh, very much so.
Than like just a regular throw.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, it makes sense for putting to just kind of feel it out on your own.
yeah, I think so too. It's because it's like the little machine you're making. it's already kind of different with the throw, but you're like, if we put our arms to each other, just our elbow to our wrist is a different length. That makes your machine a little different. Like, it's going to be easier, more comfortable. I don't say it doesn't matter how you putt. I think the only thing that matters is you do the same thing consistently. And if you can do the same thing consistently, and your brain will do the rest. Like, you don't actually have to like do too much as long as you're consistently doing the same thing. Putting league, I think, is a thing that taught me that I'm not concentrating when I putt. I don't keep my concentration when I putt. I am thinking about the next hole. Sometimes I take putts for granted.
Focus takes practice.
I think so. I think that's you nailed it. That focus does take practice. And if you're not practicing focus, you're probably not practicing how you want to throw when you're trying to
At least
play a
not to your
tournament.
potential.
Yeah, and I think that word hit really home. Like, you can get better, but you won't hit your full potential unless you're like shaving away like that.
Trying to get it.
All right, so we will probably be out at Seawright, where shout out to whoever marked off the yardage markers in the field next to Seawright. But thank you so much. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll go out there, Seawright. We'll throw the drone up in the air. We'll have a couple of the GoPros running and our Sony, and we'll just shoot some high speed footage of ourselves, kind of show people what we'll do. And then, I don't know, what do you guys think? Do it at a first tournament, maybe the next Goose promotion he's got at one of those.
We'll try to.
Let's go.
As soon as we can get
We'll figure it out.
out there.
Probably not something to do on air. You know? We'll do administrative things after the podcast, Nick.
That's,
My bad.
we'll figure it out.
We're good at this.
We are going to have some cool footage of some cool disc flight next week. And I think, do we got anything else? Do we?
I think we just have one last thing. Nothing? Oh, still nothing. We'll do this every episode. This will be our thing.
This is how we end.
This will
I'm
be.
going to look at him super confused.
And then I'll pretend like we have one more thing to do. We'll try to read a board that's just far enough away. We both need our glasses. And then we'll come back here and just finish the episode.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. This has been episode 6 of Barely Stable Podcast. Remember to like and subscribe on all social media. We've been working on some cool little short videos that you can check out. Really going to be everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Absolutely. Shout out to Rigdon and Trevor. Thanks so much for helping us out in the booth.
And until next time, just be cool.
Peace.
Time, weather, and
Always.
case.